Hi guys, this is Ranjit, and in this video let's do the full review of this OnePlus 8, and this is the Indian unit, and I've used it slightly over a week, so I'll divide this review between pros and cons. But before that, here are quick specs for the OnePlus 8. As you can see, it's having a 6.55 inch full HD plus AMOLED screen, which is actually 90 Hz, and it's powered by the Snapdragon 865, and hence it supports 5G, and other specs are on the screen for your reference. So let's drop down between the pros and cons. And guys, I won't get into detail about physical overview and all those things. Watch my unboxing if you want to buy. And yes, I know this is a Chinese smartphone. I'm personally not going to use it, but again, I just wanted to give you out the review. Maybe some of you might be interested in this. So again, I'm just dividing it between the pros and cons so that you can decide if this is right for you or not, or any other smartphone is right for you. Anyways, let's talk about it. And the first thing that I actually liked about this smartphone is strangely the in-hand feel. The in-hand feel is actually really good of this handset. Though it's having that 6.55 inch screen, it's actually comfortable to hold because the back is also rounded a little bit, so it does not feel very big. And the biggest thing I would say is that the weight balance has been done well on this one. This was always a problem for me with the OnePlus Pro series. I always felt that the weight balance of those phones was not good, but this one is actually done very well, and in-hand feel is actually good, and so it feels actually way more comfortable, though it's having a 6.55 inch screen. Now next, if we move to the performance, here you know guys, because of the Snapdragon 865 SoC, the performance is blazingly fast. And again, the thing that I personally like about OnePlus is that Oxygen OS almost close to stock Android with some sprinkle of addition stuff that you would like to use. So hence, in terms of daily usage, I would say I'd never had an issue with this one. The performance is blazingly fast on this phone, so that's not an issue. Also, in terms of screen, it has that 90 Hz option, but I'll talk about the screen later on in the video. Now, if we talk about the cellular call quality on this one, again, as you can see, both my SIMs are on this one as of now. That's the Airtel and even with my Jio SIM. And I have to say, in terms of network reception, the network reception is good on this one. I wouldn't say that's the best or something, but again, I would say it's slightly above average, and I did not have a problem with network reception. And also coming to the cellular call quality, the earpiece is actually very good, loud and clear. And even the microphone quality is good because I used it over 8 days, and none of the other parties complained that my voice was muffled or something like that. I also did take a lot of calls via Bluetooth headset. I tried what was that Mi TWS2 headset with this, and used it for 4-5 days. There it was fine, and even with the Mi wireless Z neckband that I used, and in terms of Bluetooth range also, that was good. So in terms of cellular quality and stuff, that's nice. And now if we talk about one thing I forgot, it also supports voice over Wi-Fi, and here in Hyderabad, Airtel does support that, and I was able to make calls with that. So again, if you live in a low network area, and if you have a VO Wi-Fi, that is voice over Wi-Fi, Airtel and Jio, I think so, are the providers that support. This handset does support that and works very well. Now, talking about the battery life I was getting on this one. On paper, this has more capacity compared to the OnePlus 70. This has a 4300 milliamp hour battery. But I would say the battery life I was getting on this one is closer to what you might be getting on the OnePlus 70. I was expecting a lot more. But to be fair, guys, I was using this phone mostly on the 90 Hz, not on the 60 Hz. So that is something you have to note. And in terms of screen on time, I'll add some screenshots also here. As you can see, the lowest I got was about 4.5 hours, and the highest was slightly over 6 hours. So I would say the average SOT that I was getting was about 5.5 hours on this one. Though the standby time is good. For example, as you can see, yesterday I didn't use this smartphone a lot, and if you go to the battery stats over here, let me actually show you here. As you can see, it's still showing that we have about 20% battery life, and it's been almost about 2 days off the charger. And screen on time, as I've told you, I didn't use the phone a lot because I was testing the Mi laptop. I was using that much, but even after 2 days, that's almost over 48 hours. We have a screen time of 4 hours 31 minutes, and still we have about 20% battery left. So as you can see, so that's regarding the battery life. So the battery life, if I have to sum up, I would say it's good enough. I would say it's not the best I have seen, not the worst that I've seen on flagship Android phone. So that's regarding the battery life. Now moving to gaming, again I did try a little bit of gaming. I did try just Call of Duty on this one, and it played fine without any issues. Again, you should expect that because of the Snapdragon 865 SoC. That's the most powerful SoC processor that you can get on Android as of now, so no issues with that. Now also talking about memory management here, again the memory management is done well. For example, these are some of the apps that are used in the morning, and as you can see, they are in memory. Again, don't have to worry about it. Even YouTube heavy app, and as you can see, so that's the case. As you can see, most of the apps reside in memory. So in terms of memory management also, it was fine. And again, because of that Oxygen OS, it was a fluid experience. Now moving to another thing, that is the camera. On this one, I was very skeptical about the camera before I got the phone, because on paper, if you look at even at the rear facing camera, the specs are just very average. The main camera has a 48 megapixel, then we have a 16 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel for macro, and front facing is that 16 megapixel. But consistently when I shot photographs with this phone, the performance that I got was amazing. Here are some of the samples to give you an idea, and as you can see, most of the pictures that I took came out very good. In fact, the biggest surprise for me was that even in artificial lighting, indoor lighting, as you can see, some of the samples taken in this office itself came out very good. But even in very low lighting conditions, as you can see here, this was almost night and that I took the snaps, came out very good. Very low lighting, just a little bit of lighting coming out from the kitchen. Then also, as you can see, it did actually very good job, and these were taken in the normal mode, not in the night mode. Hence I feel the camera performance has improved drastically, I would say, and that was a pleasant surprise to me. Even in artificial lighting, where most of the phones actually struggle, this one actually did a very good job. But the surprising thing was that when I invoked the night mode, this picture was taken in the night mode, it did not do well. I shut off the night mode, and as you can see, this was with the flash, obviously it came out good. But when I shut off the flash manually also, I got this picture. So strangely, I would say don't use the night mode, it is not doing a good job. But general pictures that I took with this one came out very good. And even if we talk about the front facing camera, performance, though it's just a 16 megapixel, we are these days getting 32 etc with the front facing, but the performance was actually really good. So in terms of camera, I would say the camera performance was a surprise for me, though it does not have a telephoto lens. We do have that zoom option in the interface, but it's just a digital zoom. I think so they're leaving that zoom stuff for the Pro series. But nevertheless, I frankly did not have huge expectations with the camera, but the camera was the biggest surprise for me personally. Now let's move to some of the cons that I have noticed with this device. And the first con is that, as you can see guys, I'm not using it with the case right now, and I feel this is a fingerprint magnet, as you can see over here. But apart from that, this phone is also very slippery. About 2-3 times it actually slipped out of my hand and fell, and even around my desk when it was there, it just the vibration motor was there and it just slid out. Coming to vibration motor, I would say this is a good thing. This is not in a con, I forgot to mention. The vibration motor is improved, I would say. So haptic feedback has definitely improved. But if I compare it with some of the other flagships that I liked, I would say those are my benchmark for haptic feedback. For example, the Pixel 3 XL which I had, or even the iPhones. I don't think so the haptic motor feedback is on those levels. But anyways, coming back to the cons. Next thing is that no physical LED notification light still, and still I don't know why OnePlus does that. It has an AMOLED screen, no always on display. Yes, you have this, if you just pick it up it gives you an idea, but I want to have an always on screen. That is what I miss with many when I'm using OnePlus devices. For Samsung devices for so long have been providing always on. We don't have that always on, so you have to tap in and stuff, and you don't even have a physical notification light. So sometimes that was the thing that was annoying to me. But now moving to another thing is that this is again regarding the screen. Don't get me wrong, it's an AMOLED screen. I don't think so the camera might be able to capture it. Let me adjust the brightness and see if it is able to do it. What I noticed is that if you look at the screen like this, fine. But again, if you start tilting it a little bit, you have a pinkish hue. I don't think so my camera will be able to capture it. This is a general problem with many of the AMOLED screens, and sadly it's there even on this one. Again, I would say this is prevalent in a lot of smartphones, only except some of the high-end Samsung phones. You don't get that issue, but here I would say it's slightly on the higher side. If you look at it like this, most of you won't notice it, but on a white background and stuff, if you just tilt it like this, the screen actually tries, you get that slight pinkish hue, and I noticed that immediately. But again, I noticed these issues, so that's why I noticed what a normal user might not. But this is something that I felt was slightly more compared to many of the other screens that I've seen that are having an AMOLED screen. Now, coming to another thing is that this is again a peculiar issue that I noticed, and this is when at night all the lights are closed, and I keep the phones at lowest brightness. Even at the lowest brightness, I felt that the screen was pretty bright compared to many of the other, flagship Android phones that I've used that come with the AMOLED screen. For example, Samsung, etc. They can go a lot lower in brightness. So even at the lowest brightness, I felt the screen was too bright and it was hurting my eyes if all the lights were closed, and sometimes you have to use it at night like that. I felt that the lowest brightness is not as good as earlier OnePlus devices, because some of the earlier OnePlus devices did go even lower, but I did notice flickering on that. Here, flickering does not come, but again, the brightness also does not go that low. That is something that I have noticed. Now, coming to another thing is that I still don't like that OnePlus is skimping on that headphone jack. That is something I feel that is sorely unwanted, and they should bring it back. And this is a peculiar thing that I noticed, and this is regarding Wi-Fi on this one. This handset sometimes, it's not every time, but about 10% of the 10 or 15% of the time, right now it's connected to Wi-Fi. It was telling me, though it's connected to the Wi-Fi, no internet was coming, and I had this issue. And though other devices, other smartphones, etc., I was testing were connected to that Wi-Fi router without any problem. And this is a router I've been using for a long time, never had an issue with any phone, but here I had it. And what I had to do for fixing it is I had to just shut off the Wi-Fi and just enable it back, and then it used to connect. So that is a bug, I think. So I hope OnePlus fixes it with the OTA update. But that was something that initially I noticed that was creating issue for me. And now let's also talk about the pricing of this one. In India, OnePlus officially started it with the 42,000 variant, but now if you look at the Amazon India page, it's sold officially by Amazon. They have just removed that 42,000 variant, so it starts at 45,000, and you get that 8 GB and 128 GB storage. And then we also have one more variant that's for 50,000, that's 12 GB RAM and 256. So essentially now it's starting at 45,000. And if we start comparing it with the earlier version of OnePlus, that is the OnePlus 7T, that was launched at 38, but now you can get that for 35,000 currently on Amazon. So there's a price gap of about 10,000 rupees. And yes, I feel the cameras have improved considerably, I would say. Yes, this is surprising to me also, and it's not a bad phone, but does it justify that 10,000 price difference from the OnePlus 7T to this one? Yes, this has 5G, but will you be having 5G realistically in India in the next 2 years? That is a question that you need to ask. So I feel OnePlus should have priced it slightly more aggressively. And what was that marketing stunt? Why did you even launch that 42,000 variant if you don't want to sell it in India? Stop doing these gimmicks, I would say. So again, we also have the Pro variant, and I would say that 45,000 price point would have been justified if this handset had the IP67 or 68 protection, but officially this one does not have that. They have left that for the Pro series. With the Pro series, if you go, you will get slightly better camera. It has that proper zoom, and it also has IP rating and wireless charging. Those are the things that are missing on this one. Don't get me wrong, overall the phone is fine, I would say, but I feel OnePlus is charging a little bit of premium and trying to push you towards the Pro instead of this one. But again, it's your money and you have to decide which one is better. I would say if you're on a tight budget, still even the OnePlus 7T is a good smartphone. It's not an outdated smartphone. But again, if you are willing to spend, this is not a bad phone. Anyways, guys, that's it for this review. And if you guys are still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.